I am a 40-year-old man, and my wife Hannah is a 38-year-old woman. We've been happily married for 5 years. Prior to tying the knot, Hannah had worked as a dancer at a local club. Meanwhile, I pursued my passion for writing as a novelist, always seeking inspiration for my next scenes. One evening while working on my latest novel, I decided to visit a nearby club to relax and find some creative inspiration. Little did I know that fate had an unexpected surprise in store for me there. My wife Hannah left me in awe with her mesmerizing performance. Her dance skills were simply flawless, and she looked stunning in a red bikini. As she danced, it seemed as though the world disappeared, and she was lost in the music. Her movements were so captivating that I couldn't take my eyes off her. I couldn't help but feel a deep connection and appreciation for her toned body, gracefully moving to the rhythm. In that moment, I was entranced and realized how much I cherished having her in my life. After patiently waiting for 4 long hours, I finally saw her shift coming to an end. As she sat down at a table to relax, I mustered up all my courage and decided to approach her for a chat. Initially, she seemed a bit guarded, probably mistaking me for someone who might harass her. However, I remained respectful and tried to put her at ease with friendly conversation. Gradually, her demeanor softened and we began to have a pleasant and engaging conversation. It turned out to be a memorable encounter as we discovered common interests and shared laughter together. Breaking through that initial barrier made our interaction all the more meaningful. Having observed her experiences with unfamiliar men, I understood her caution, and thus I introduced myself politely, clarifying the reason for my prolonged wait, and expressing my admiration for her captivating dance performance. As our conversation progressed, her initial wariness began to fade, and she became more relaxed. I discovered that she was a talkative woman who found joy in reciting poetry during everyday conversations. It was a delightful and unexpected twist that added a unique charm to our interaction. We shared stories, exchanged verses, and connected on a level that transcended the ordinary. Her ability to blend poetry into our chat left a lasting impression, making the encounter all the more enchanting and memorable. Engaging in profound conversations with her became one of my greatest pleasures. After exchanging numbers, we started dating and shared beautiful moments together for over a year. When the time felt right, I decided to take the next step and propose to her. The proposal caught her by surprise as no one had ever expressed such a sincere intention before. Due to the nature of her profession, she had developed the belief that finding a life partner would be challenging. It would be challenging to have a partner, considering that many individuals judged her solely based on her line of work and sought only casual encounters. However, my feelings for her were genuine and unconditional, transcending any preconceived notions or stereotypes. I wanted to be with her not just for her captivating dance skills, but for the depth of her personality and the connection we shared through meaningful conversations. So I took the chance to show her that love and understanding can thrive beyond stereotypes, proving that true love sees beyond the surface and embraces the essence of a person. As a devoted writer and an appreciator of art, I held no concern for her reputation, the alluring nature of her attire, or her daring dance moves. To me, dance was a profound expression of art, and it was her personality and artistic prowess that truly captivated me. It was with great joy that Hannah accepted my proposal, and we embarked on a journey of matrimony together. Regrettably, my father chose not to attend the wedding due to his reservations about her chosen profession. He had hoped for me to marry someone in the medical or teaching field. Despite his absence, I refrained from pressuring him to come because I refused to let him disrespect my wife's career. Thankfully, my mother and siblings were wholeheartedly supportive of our marriage and stood by us during this special occasion. Hannah, a strikingly tall and intelligent woman, had a unique work schedule. She spent her nights working at a bar and slept during the day. Interestingly, as a writer, I adopted a similar routine, finding my inspiration during the late hours. During our time together, Hannah became an invaluable partner in my writing journey, helping me craft various passages and ideas. Our bond was anything but conventional, and our lifestyles set us apart as a truly distinctive couple. My former friends would frequent the club where Hannah worked, and instead of treating her with respect, they resorted to teasing and questioning my choice to marry a dancer. I made the difficult decision to sever ties with these friends because of their unpleasant behavior towards my wife. To empower Hannah and showcase her talent, I encouraged her to join a local theater group and perform in a way that addressed the negative attitudes and prejudices displayed by my former friends at the club. This decision was not about seeking revenge, but rather about standing up for my wife and her art, while setting boundaries with those who failed to show her the respect she deserved. We were no strangers to the judgmental comments and mockery that people directed towards us, particularly because of my decision to marry a pole dancer. Despite the derogatory remarks, Hannah stood strong and resolute in her choice to continue working at the bar. She encouraged me to be brave and self-assured in my decision to be with her, as she had grown accustomed to facing such unpleasant remarks from others over the years. She refused to let the opinions of a few negative individuals influence her career choices or our relationship, reminding me not to be affected by the words of those who lacked understanding and compassion. Together, we faced the world with confidence and solidarity, knowing that we were true to ourselves and our love for each other, regardless of societal judgments. I never intended to belittle or criticize her profession, but regrettably she interpreted it that way. The initial years of our marriage were truly blissful, as our love for each other ran deep. The opinions of others no longer bothered us, as we realized that traditional couples did not invite us to their celebrations, likely due to our different work schedules and unique lifestyle choices. This exclusion from conventional gatherings inadvertently strengthened our bond, as we became increasingly content in each other's company, and cared less about the judgment of others. Our love flourished in its own distinct and authentic way, unshaken by societal norms, making our relationship all the more meaningful and fulfilling. In our self-fashioned lives, we relished frequenting theaters and cinemas to indulge in the captivating allure of plays and comedies. Late-night comedy shows were another cherished pastime for us. Hannah's social circle revolved around her connections from the bar, primarily composed of dancers and bartenders. As for me, my circle of friends had diminished over time, as some of my old companions had shown their true colors, leaving me with fewer trusted confidants. Consequently, whenever we organized birthday or anniversary celebrations, my siblings chose not to attend, feeling out of place among the dancers and bartenders who comprised Hannah's social circle. One incident that stood out was when my brother candidly expressed his disapproval, suggesting that my marriage to a dancer had somehow ruined my life. He believed that her public-facing job had eroded any sense of shame she should possess. My brother shocked me by sharing his inappropriate feelings towards Hannah, mentioning that he didn't view her as a family-oriented person due to her choice of attire, often opting for short bikinis and skirts whenever he visited us. His attraction to my wife was deeply unsettling, and I found his remarks about her utterly disrespectful and offensive. Filled with anger and disappointment, I firmly told him never to return if he couldn't treat my wife with the respect she deserved. Everything seemed to be going smoothly in our lives until a distressing incident unfolded. One day, Hannah returned home in tears, recounting a troubling encounter at the bar. Wealthy men had visited the establishment and attempted to inappropriately touch her while she was dancing, leaving her feeling harassed and violated. To make matters worse, the club's management failed to take any action to protect her from such behavior. This incident cast a dark shadow over our otherwise peaceful existence. Upon expressing her desire to nurture her talent, Hannah revealed her interest in joining a theater company. Waste no time, the following day we engaged the services of a skilled choreographer named Arjun, hailing from India. Arjun's expertise lay in teaching diverse dance forms, including Catholic and hip-hop styles, to help Hannah expand her repertoire. While Hannah already possessed remarkable abilities in pole dancing and belly dancing, she was eager to explore and master additional dance techniques under Arjun's guidance. Arjun, a youthful 30-year-old, exuded a remarkable sense of kindness and ease with our way of life. Unlike my brother and friends, he held a genuine appreciation for art, and treated both my wife, Hannah, and me with utmost respect. His frequent visits to our home were dedicated to teaching Hannah dance, an endeavor she embraced wholeheartedly, steadily improving her moves under his patient guidance. I observed Hannah practicing dance with Arjun, and I couldn't help but notice that she was wearing short braids and tights. This reminded me of my brother's inappropriate remarks about Hannah's appearance in the past. Concerned about the situation, I decided to have a conversation with her. Knowing that Hannah was sensitive about her career and self-image, I approached the topic delicately and suggested that she consider dressing more appropriately during dance sessions. Unfortunately, my well-intentioned advice did not sit well with her, and she reacted defensively. Upon discussing my concerns with Hannah, she unexpectedly burst into tears, labeling me as an average man and a skeptic. I quickly apologized, assuring her that I didn't doubt her or her abilities. My intention was merely to encourage caution. However, my words seemed to have hurt her deeply, and she did not take my remarks well at all. In response to our conversation, Hannah requested that Arjun stop teaching dance at our home. Instead, she opted to attend his dance studio for her lessons. After our conversation, Hannah shared that she had stopped working, which allowed her the flexibility to visit the dance studio for practice sessions. While I respected her decision, it meant that our home was now free from the constant music and distraction, creating the perfect environment for me to focus on writing my novels. I appreciated the solitude as it made it easier for me to concentrate and unleash my creativity without any disruptions. So during the hours when Hannah was at the studio, I utilized that valuable time to immerse myself in my writing projects. As Hannah dedicated more time to the dance studio for practice, she often returned home late at night, explaining that she needed to prepare rigorously for an upcoming audition. As our 5th wedding anniversary approached, we realized we didn't have many people to celebrate it with. Wanting to create a special surprise for my wife, I came up with a plan. At midnight, I decided to visit Arjun's dance studio, where Hannah was likely still practicing. I wanted to catch her off guard with a heartfelt surprise to commemorate our anniversary. Anticipating a celebration at June's studio, I embarked on a thoughtful journey after purchasing my wife's favorite flowers and ordering her cherished chocolate cake. With excitement in my heart, I drove to Arjun's dance studio, envisioning a bustling and lively atmosphere. However, upon arrival, I was met with an unexpected sight. The studio stood dark and eerily empty. Venturing through a narrow staircase, I made my way to the first floor of the studio, only to find the reception area devoid of any presence. It seemed like someone had been there earlier, evidenced by the desk, phone, and some leftover food. But they had likely stepped out, perhaps to use the restroom. Rather than waiting in the lobby, I decided to explore further and ventured inside the studio. As I moved through the first room, a vast hall likely used for dancing, I noticed it was unoccupied. My search for other practice rooms led me to another door, and upon opening it, I was taken aback by what I saw. Inside was a small bedroom, and to my shock, I found my wife and Arjun engaged in an intimate act. As they laid eyes on me, both my wife and Arjun were visibly shocked. Arjun's voice raised as he demanded to know how the receptionist could have allowed me to enter. In response, I explained that there was no one at the reception when I arrived. Neither my wife nor Arjun had expected to see me in the spare bedroom, and I was utterly horrified by the scene before me. In the heat of my fury, I lashed out and physically attacked Arjun, landing punches and kicks that left him bleeding. Despite my wife Hannah pleading with me to stop, I was overwhelmed by anger and couldn't control my actions. Eventually, I stormed out, discarding the flowers and cake meant to be a surprise for our anniversary later that night. When my wife returned home, I was still filled with indignation and shame. I forbade her entry and demanded that she leave. It was an emotionally charged and painful moment for both of us, but my anger and hurt were difficult to contain at that time. After months of navigating the divorce process, I finally handed over the divorce papers to my wife. To my dismay, she experienced a complete meltdown in response. Amidst her sobs, she directed hurtful words my way, referring to me as an average man. And while I could have overlooked one mistake, her actions were too much to bear. Despite the emotional turmoil, I felt compelled to express my perspective clearly. I firmly reminded her that infidelity is a profound breach of trust and an unequivocal deal-breaker in any marriage. I stressed the importance of trust as the foundation of any successful relationship, and I firmly believe that cheating can never be dismissed as an accident. As painful as it is to part ways, it was necessary to stand my ground on these fundamental principles. My hope is that both of us can eventually find healing and move forward separately. I must confess that I married her despite facing strong opposition from my entire family and society. Even though I bestowed upon her the title of wife and treated her with respect, I couldn't help but notice a lack of grace in her demeanor. She never showed any remorse for her infidelity or any sense of shame about it. Instead, she chose to act as if it was of no consequence. Arjun was exploiting her, using her solely for his own pleasures. After I reported the situation, he abruptly abandoned her at his studio, which has since closed down. As for my wife, she has returned to dancing at the same club and hasn't pursued any opportunities in the theater industry. Upon her mother's contact, I was informed that Hannah is not content following the divorce, yet she remains too self-centered to offer an apology. At this point, I have no desire for her apologies, nor am I concerned about her happiness. I have been reconnecting with my parents and old friends, and they are supportive of my decision to end the relationship with Hannah. I chose not to disclose the true reason behind our divorce, but it is inconsequential now as I have found happiness. Regardless of the love, respect, and legal commitment I offered, it seemed insufficient for her. While some might criticize my decision to marry her, I was deeply in love and could not have foreseen her betrayal. In hindsight, it is possible that my brother, friends, and father were more perceptive about her character than I was. Nevertheless, I have moved on and am content with the choices I have made. Thank you for listening to the story until the end, and if you liked it, please support us with a like and subscribe to our channel. Write in the comments what you think about the story.